Hey everyone, Mark and Joey here on a Sunday morning. Another beautiful day in Ontario here, and got a round of golf into yesterday and probably practice today. But nice to have this weather finally coming. I'm sure as all of you in the Northeast are feeling. And with that is some cold.
Yeah,
and that cold is the NHL. And we're once again coming to the end of a championship year.
Man.
Stanley Cup is in the building tonight, and you will for sure be cheering for your team to win it.
Yeah, obviously my team St. Louis has a chance to close it out tonight. What a great moment it's going to be, whether it's win or lose. The Cup's in the building. It's Game 6, Stanley Cup Finals. It's either Game 7 or it's all over. And, it's just going to be something remarkable to see. If it will give us a preview of what we'll react when we win our NBA title, I think.
No kidding.
If St. Louis get it done tonight, you can guarantee that city's just going to be rocking until the next morning, and the parade will be huge. And when they bring out that cup, I can't imagine how loud it will get in there. Probably deafening, but lots at hand. 60 minutes against a tough Boston team, a veteran Boston team that does not panic. So you're going to have to continue to play well. But one thing, Boston does well is they don't give up many goals. So you haven't scored a ton. So basically that tells you one thing, man. This goaltender, Jordan Binnington, he's one win away from breaking the all-time rookie record of playoff wins. Wouldn't it be fitting if it's the one to win the cup?
Well, it'll have to be now.
It would have to be, yes.
But there's only one more win for them left.
I was saying tonight, Dad, not Game 7. Tonight he does it. He's going to have another great game, obviously. I think he will. Man, I'm just real excited to see the scene, to be honest with you. The crowd, I think, will be awesome. I think the team will be hyped up. And again, unfortunately, it's probably one of those games like Game 3. It's either going to be like a nail-biter or someone could easily blow us out because of the pressure, obviously, with Game 6. If any team has an advantage, it's probably Boston because they're going, hey, guys, we got nothing to lose. You lose. You're out. So you got to put it all on the line and then come home to Game 7 in Boston. So
I am glad.
Flying under the radar.
I'm glad you mentioned Game 3 because this is exactly like Game 3. The excitement's going to be over the top. The Cup's going to be in the building. This is a team that has never, I didn't even realize so yesterday, never won a Cup. And I thought somewhere in the early years, I know they played in some Cup finals, but it's, of course, it's been, 49 years since they even did that.
1970, right?
So I think for them it's going to be too much. I think just like Game 3, the excitement around the building, the city, everything else is going to be too much for them. I think you're going to see something like a 7-2 third game victory for Boston tonight without a doubt, and then a home win in Game 7. I think this is unfortunate for St. Louis. I would have actually picked them if they're playing in Boston tonight. I would have really thought that their road record, along with the excitement, but not so much on them. They would have been out of town playing the game. I think they would have been able to focus more. I think that you're going to see that tonight. Game 3 repeated, and we'll be going to Game 7 next.
Yeah, and I picked St. Louis in 6, so this is kind of setting up perfectly for me. But if they do lose, like you said, I'm not actually worried about them going to Boston. They've proven it. They've won 2 out of 3 in Boston.
Yeah, they got a great road record.
So if they have to go to Boston for Game 7, that might be their best case, to be honest with you, because, like you said, there's no pressure for them in Boston. It's all on Boston. They're a team who's supposed to win. In theory, obviously, they're both NHL hockey teams, but in theory, Boston's the original 6 team. They've done it before. They were better in the regular season. They should be. So if they went home to Game 7, they should feel as much pressure as St. Louis does tonight. So I don't have a ton of faith. Actually, St. Louis will win tonight, but I did pick them in 6, so if they do, I'll take it, and I'll be right on the button. If not, though, I have total confidence in Game 7 going on the road that they can do it. Few things is, it is tough to win 3 in a row against someone like the Boston Bruins. That's what they'll be trying to do tonight. But if you lose tonight, I think you go home to Boston. Boston goes home, you follow them, and you win that game in Game 7. It would still be a Stanley Cup. I don't think it would be as cool as if they can do it tonight, though, in St. Louis.
For sure,
obviously, if they can win tonight in St. Louis, it'd be so amazing. And like I said, the crowd, outside, inside, everyone watching at home will just be going insane. So, but big Game 6, 60 minutes, guys. So, it's not over yet. And then, if you have to go to Game 7, that's a different story. But right now, you got 60 minutes to close it out. Play good hockey. Don't do anything different. Don't let the crowd get you too excited. Just play your game. Your goaltender is going to do his thing. Jordan Binnington's answered every call he's had to so far in the postseason. You won Game 7 to get here. You won a Game 6 to get here. And you won another Game 6 to get here. This is just another road for you guys. St. Louis,
They've at least been down this path.
They've been down this path, and I think they can get it done tonight, and I really hope they do. I think it'd be a good story for hockey. Obviously, their last place, the All-Star break. I think it's bad news for coaches because that means coaches changes really, really work.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think it's bad news for veteran goaltenders because young goaltenders will be coming up in no time if your team's in last place. But it'd be good for the city. I think it'd be a good story from the NHL, and it'd be good for me because I picked them in 6.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, your pick is sitting right there. I think I picked Boston in 4. Oh, then I picked them in 5.
I think your realistic pick, though, in your defense, your realistic pick was Boston in 7. But then you said, I'm going to be stupid and go 4, 5, 6.
So we're going for Boston in 7. Here's the deal tonight. Here's what I'll predict for you if you're watching the game and if you're playing the game. One of the things we do in our wagering strategies, we talk about playing in-game.
Yeah.
Whoever scores the first goal tonight is going to win.
Oh, I agree.
Because if Boston scores the first goal, St. Louis is going to get a little bit of that sinking feeling. The crowd's going to quiet real quickly from this feverish pitch that they have. And I think that's going to be a challenge for them. I think on the other side, if St. Louis scores the first goal, it's just going to be so much momentum at that point to really stop them because they're going to get that first goal. They're going to be, they're going to come out blazing right away. I think they're going to be nervous. And then if they can score first, they'll just continue that momentum and win the game. So I'm telling you right now that whoever scores first is your play of the night. I'm not sure who's going to be. That's going to be. I really believe it'll be Boston. I really believe it'll be an easy game for Boston, just like Game 3 was. But we will wait to see this goalie. And like I say, if you haven't seen the show before, a couple times I've mentioned Murray with Pittsburgh. Rookie goalies, it's not unusual for him to win. Matter of fact, Pittsburgh won back-to-back years with him. So in the old days, I would have thrown out the goalie as a rookie, and that'd be a main reason. But this guy's been crazy good.
Well, I think the thing for me is he's won tight, low-scoring games. It's not like St. Louis has had to put up a ton of goals. I always say if St. Louis can score, so if anytime Binghamton can hold them less than 3, they've almost won every game. I don't think they've won a game when he's led in 3 or more, but less than 3, I think they've won almost every game. So he's answered the call in low-scoring games. Last game was 2-1. He played phenomenal.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think first goal wins because I think St. Louis scores first. Like, so they're going to be coming out hot and jumpy. Yeah. That can either turn into a quick goal or obviously some bad passes and the other team scores. I think you're right. I think you could easily decide the game because I think St. Louis would be tough to bring down if they got up 1-0. I agree with you there. And I agree, it's the same in Boston. Almost like Game 3, Boston scored early. All of a sudden, St. Louis went in their shell, right?
Yeah.
We'll see, but definitely I think, obviously, as every game does, will come down to goaltenders. The series has not been, you haven't had like a 5-4 game yet, so I think it's the same situation here. One goaltender's going to play great, or they both play great, it's going to be tight, but I think Bennington answers the call, and it's over tonight. I really do.
Well, Boston needs.
And it's a great story.
I'd have to say that Rask has been outplayed by Bingham in this playoff. I think Rask was probably better coming in. He'd been amazing all playoff. So it wouldn't be beyond belief here that Rask carries him these last 2 games because he played so well in the playoffs so far.
I don't know if I would say he's been outplayed. I think the Boston defense maybe hasn't been as strong. I feel like right now, if I look at it this way, Rask has played as well as he needs to, but hasn't made that save.
Yeah.
Where I feel like Binghamton in like 4 games or 3 games has made that save that you're like, what?
Yeah.
What? Oh my God. And even the games he lost, he made a couple absurd saves. So
and his defense has helped, especially when he lost a stick in the last game, and a couple of them squeezed through and almost in the net, and their defense come and shoveled it out.
Boston had Krejci actually dive across the goal line and make a chest save. So both goaltenders have had help. I just think, Rask might make that save, and it might be early that gives them 0-0 and allows Boston then to score the first goal, like you said. That might be the case here. That might be needed. I wouldn't put him down as the reason why they lost. Definitely not. He's the reason why they're there in the first place. Right. In my mind, I'd put down the reason why they lost is that they can't score on St. Louis. It's been great goaltending, great defensively. The 4 lines of Boston have been amazing. The fourth line of St. Louis. St. Louis's fourth line, Alexander Steen, former Leaf, Jaden Schwartz, Braden Shen. Braden Shen. That fourth line has been fantastic for them, and they've been outplaying Boston's first line, really. So I think it's been the key for St. Louis. We'll see, though, going forward. At the end of the day, we know what it's all about. It's all about goaltending. It's all about, who scores more goals. So will one of these goaltenders save the day, or will it just come down to a 7-2 win in Game 7?
Well, certainly in history, goalies have made the difference. Usually when they have a Stanley Cup game, the goalie is what will either win it or lose it in a particular game. So we're looking forward to the only thing I can tell you, which Joey's agreeing with, first goal wins. I think we both are there. Yeah. We both disagree on which team that'll be, but for sure, I think first goal wins tonight. Enjoy watching the game. I mean, it's been a great playoff. The whole thing has been a great playoff. As we mentioned before, all the number 1 seeds went out in the first round, and this could have been an ugly year of terrible games. But actually, all those other teams seem to be clumped together, which has made for great hockey. And I think that's been a saving grace here. I do agree with you. From a league perspective, I think St. Louis is a great winning team. With the fact I didn't think they'd win at the beginning of the series, but this is a team that's waited a long, long time. There'll be lots of conversation about this cup. There'll be parties next year about the cup because of, when they're getting it and all that kind of stuff. It's just it's going to be a great time for a St. Louis team to win for sure.
Here's why I decide why is it great? They're like because Boston fans are going to go no. Well, sometimes you gotta think of maybe youth hockey even, and winning a cup, especially in a city kind of like St. Louis, could easily propel. Like when the Los Angeles Kings won 3 cups. I know everyone in Canada was kind of like, well, who cares? They're in California. But what that does to the levels of hockey teams, below them is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at you kind of want an American team that's not Chicago or Pittsburgh to win. It's almost always American teams, but it's been real American teams. I mean, Chicago is a hockey town. Pittsburgh's hockey town. Yeah. Boston hockey. They have no issues with hockey. I think if St. Louis won, it'd be a great story. I think it'd rejuvenate that city, though. They don't have any other sports teams, actually. Oh, they have baseball, that's it. But they lost the football. They don't have basketball. I think if the hockey team can win a cup, what could that do to the young hockey players out there in St. Louis? Could you easily see a lot of Americans from St. Louis eventually playing in the NHL, because it's definitely cold enough to be obviously a hockey city. I think it'd be great with Brett Hall's there. Wayne Gretzky played there throughout the years, all these great players. You can see the emotions on their faces. I'm sure Brett Hall will be there. I don't know if Wayne will be there. But I just think overall, if you really care about the game of hockey, St. Louis winning would do so much more, I think, for hockey than Boston winning, which is a team that most people hate. And honestly, it would only benefit Boston people because they'd have 3 out of 4 championships, which is cool for them. But for the overall sport, I agree with you. St. Louis is the guy.
Well, I'll give you a reference to 1992 and 93, which is a long time ago. But hockey is Canada's sport. But the Blue Jays won the World Series in 92 and 93, and baseball registration went up 60% here. And it was the same story you're talking about. Baseball was not the great sport in Canada. It still isn't. We have one team in our whole country at the pro level. But the growth of it, because the Blue Jays winning, and we can see that in St. Louis as well, the growth of hockey. Also, just the growth of hockey in the U.S. when they get this excited about hockey. We love to see it. It's good for the whole league. There's tons of Canadians that play the game, obviously, because of our heritage with the game. Yeah. But in the U.S., we're continually trying to build those markets. We want strong teams. We want strong franchises. It makes the overall league that much better, which helps us as well.
And while we're on Canada, which would be funny, is that St. Louis has the most Canadians in the NHL Hockey League.
Yeah, funny enough.
So for honorary Canadian, well, we are Canadians. We're not honorary Canadians. We're Canadians.
Honorary St. Louis fans.
Yeah, because of Canadians. It just shows. I mean, if you look at a lot of the Cup winners, they have a lot of Canadians, and this would be proven again that a Canadian team, not a Canadian team, but an American team, but Canadians are good for the playoffs, and they really help their third, fourth liners. Now, funny, contrary to our point, is Boston has a lot of Americans, but does that help? I feel like teams
That's great for hockey too, though.
Yeah, but I feel like the team matters more than the players. I don't think people are going to dissect and go, oh, Boston, well, that's good for Americans, a lot of Americans on the team. I think they're going to look at an American team winning the Cup in St. Louis. That's a market that could easily build, and that's more important. That's the way we're looking at it. If you want another example, just look at our basketball team right now. They are now the most valuable franchise in Canada, so a bit better than the Leafs, better than the Blue Jays. They are worth $2 billion simply because of this run by Toronto with Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, and the guys on the team, Marc Gasol. I bet, like you said, registration for basketball will go up. The jerseys are everywhere. So it's same in St. Louis. They have 2 teams, baseball, hockey, man. This is a hockey's turn to take hold of this city. And a cup will do that. I think it'll be awesome. And regardless of it, we're excited to see this game. And we're sure it'll be an intense Game 6 or 7, whatever it ends up being. But tonight, Game 6, might even get emotional if you have any attachments to St. Louis. I can't imagine what the beginning is going to be like. Just the intro sometimes are the coolest part of the whole game. And then obviously the game's going to happen, and hopefully it comes down to a close game that St. Louis comes on top and they celebrate in St. Louis with the Cup.
Well, I'd have to say, aside from the logic in my mind of Boston winning the series, and I thought they would at the beginning, still think they can come back here. I'd love to see St. Louis win it in St. Louis. It'd be incredible. The fan reaction, like you said, we're getting this in Toronto with our basketball team. It's fantastic to be in the city and have everybody just a buzz. Your mother came home from work the other day and talking about all the women at her work talking about basketball. I mean,
they were having arguments with men over the basketball. She texted me yesterday. She goes, "How many points did Golden State score?" I swear they haven't scored more than 110. I'm like, oh my god.
So it really gets the whole city involved. Lifts up the city as well. And all those kinds of things that go with sporting occasions, events, and championships like this. So we're looking forward to it. I'm okay if St. Louis wins. I'll lose my play, but I would be happy if St. Louis wins the cup tonight.
It's worked out, like you said, for the NHL. It's really worked out that you have a win-win scenario here. You got like a franchise that was last place, rookie goaltender all the way to the top.
Yeah.
In a city like St. Louis, never won a cup. Or you got the dominance of Boston, which never hurts either. Dominance always makes leagues more interesting. That's why football is always interesting, because as the New England Patriots and every team trying to beat New England.
Yeah.
So it's kind of good either way, but yeah, definitely I think St. Louis is the team you want to win. Like I said, funny enough, it should scare coaches out, it should scare veteran goaltenders, because what it shows is mid-season changes and going to a young goaltender. He's 25, but you got to understand in goaltending that's young, because they're kind of late bloomers, like golf and a couple other sports. But a rookie goaltender, watch out, guys. Murray did it for Pittsburgh. If this kid does it for St. Louis, if you're a 30-something goaltender and you're having a bad season, I would be worried about the trigger. So, kind of interesting, though. I think either way, it's a win-win for the NHL. And hopefully one day it'll just be our freaking Leafs in there, but that's a different story.
Yeah, talking about long time since Cup, 67.
So if I'm St. Louis, I'm getting Brett Hull on the ice.
For now, I'll tell you what, you better get it with St. Louis, because we have good feelings about our Leaf team, and you might be the longest team. They're the longest from being in the finals. Never mind, they've never won a Cup. So they actually have suffered longer than us. I was actually alive for about 4 or 5 of the Leaf Cups in the early 60s and mid-60s. But certainly St. Louis, this would be fantastic. Well, anyway, enjoy the game tonight. We're going to be back tomorrow. We'll recap it. I must say, Boston's still my pick on a betting side of things, but I would love to see St. Louis win it tonight. Be great for the league, the team, the city. You can't beat that. And again, just enjoy it. We'll talk to you tomorrow.